sunny January day in 2013, a young Canadian backpacker checks into one of Los Angeles' most infamous hotels. Fast forward 2 weeks, her body is found floating naked in a locked rooftop water tank. No forced entry, no signs of a struggle, just silence. Watch closely. She steps in, presses every button, hides, gestures, and vanishes. This viral video sparked millions of theories, from conspiracies and ghost stories to an all too human tragedy. Tonight, we'll unravel the clues, mental illness, chilling evidence, and the official conclusion. Accidental drowning, but something tells me the truth is more twisted. So, stay with me. Elisa Lam was just 21 years old, a bright and thoughtful student from Vancouver, Canada. She had her own life ahead of her, born to Hong Kong immigrants. Elisa was a first generation dream, ambitious, artistic, and curious about the world. She was attending the University of British Columbia, working toward her degree, and like many her age, she was searching for the meaning and freedom. Intelligent, emotionally sensitive, and deeply introspective, Elisa also struggled with inner darkness. She had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression. On her Tumblr blog, which she called Either Fields, she posted haunting reflection on isolation, anxiety, and the battle between being perceived as normal and feeling completely detached inside. Her words were poetic, often philosophical, and disturbingly raw. In January 2013, seeking a break from routine and mental strain, Elisa decided to travel alone down the US West Coast. It was supposed to be her moment of liberation, a chance to experience new cities before returning to her academic life. She visited San Diego and took photos of beaches, smiled at strangers, posted updates online. Then she made her way to Los Angeles. On January 28th, she checked into a place that, in hindsight, seemed cursed from the start, the Cecil Hotel. The Cecil wasn't just another budget hotel, it was infamous. Built in the 1920s, its history was tainted by crime, suicide, and evil. The notorious serial killer Richard Ramirez, known as the Night Stalker, had once lived there. Another killer, Jack Unterweger, also chose it as his home base. The building had become a magnet for the desperate and the disturbed. At the time Elisa stayed, it was trying to rebrand itself as a youth hostel under the name Stay on Main, partitioning off floors for tourists, but the shadow of life past never left. Elisa was originally placed in a shared room with strangers, but her behavior soon alarmed them. She left strange notes around the room with messages like "Go away" and "Leave me alone." She locked the door multiple times, hid their belongings, and spoke erratically. Management eventually moved her into a private room. Hotel staff described her as pleasant and talkative, but slightly off. In the days that followed, Elisa wandered the city. She was last seen at the Last Bookstore, a well-known independent shop downtown. The owner said she was buying gifts and spoke about mailing them home. She also called her parents daily, never missing a check-in until January 31st. That day, everything stopped. Elisa missed her usual call. Her parents, alarmed by the sudden silence, alerted the LAPD. They flew to Los Angeles and joined the search. Police searched her room, her belongings, including her medications, were still there. Hotel surveillance was examined. Dogs were brought in to sweep the roof and common areas, but Elisa was nowhere to be found. On February 6, authorities held a press conference asking for public help. Still no leads. Then on Feb 13, the LAPD released something that would turn the case upside down. Elevator footage from February 1. In a 2.5-minute clip, Elisa appears confused, frightened, and erratic. She presses all the elevator buttons. She hides in a corner, peeks out of the elevator like she is being followed, steps in and out, and waves her arm in a peculiar gestures. Most unsettlingly, the elevator doors never closes. Millions watched, the internet ignited. Speculation ran wild. Was someone chasing her off camera? Was the elevator malfunctioning? Or was it manipulated? Was Elisa playing the notorious elevator game, a viral urban legend set to transfer players to another dimension? The video, choppy and oddly edited, only added to the hysteria. Several seconds were clearly missing. The timestamps were corrupted. Meanwhile, guests at the Cecil began to complain. The water pressures were weak, the colors was off, and horrible smells came from the taps. Some reported black water dripping from the shower. On February 19, a maintenance worker went to check the rooftop water tanks. What he found was unforgettable. Inside one of the tanks, floating face up, naked and lifeless, was Elisa Lam. Her clothing, wristwatch, and hotel keycard were also inside. The tank had a heavy lid, difficult to open. It was 8 feet tall. There were no ladder inside. The entrance to the rooftop was supposedly locked and alarmed. Police, media, and the public were stunned. An autopsy was performed. No alcohol or illegal drugs were found, only traces of her prescribed medications. Consistent with her bipolar diagnosis, the coroner ruled it an accidental drowning, likely triggered by a manic episode. But few were convinced that circumstances didn't make sense. Why were there no signs of how she got to the roof? Why did the elevator door stay open? Why was the footage altered? Could she have accessed the tanks alone? How did she manage to bypass all the security and climb into a sealed tank? The LAPD insisted there was no foul play, but online theories grew darker. Some believed Elisa was murdered and her body placed in the tanks. Others claimed a hotel worker could have been involved and helped cover it up. Some suggested it was part of a larger conspiracy involving secret experiments and that she had become a victim of something supernatural. Even wilder, some claimed Elisa was targeted by a government bioweapon program. Because of eerie coincidences between her name and tuberculosis test called Lam Elisa, her tumble blog continued to update after her death, either due to quoted posts or, as some believed, by someone else accessing her account. These digital echoes only deepened the sense of mystery. The Lam family filed a wrongful death suit against the hotel, but it was dismissed. The Cecil continued to operate for years, eventually shutting down and becoming the focus of a Netflix documentary. Elisa Lam became an internet legend, a real person whose tragic and became fodder for speculation, conspiracy, and horror. She was no longer just a victim, she became a myth, a symbol of how the internet can resurrect, distort, and immortalize a story. The story of Elisa Lam still haunts, not just because of what happened, but because so many questions remain unanswered. It is not just a mystery, it is a modern ghost story. What do you think really happened to Elisa Lam? Was it a tragic accident, or is there more to this story than we are being told? Do you believe the hotel was hiding something? Why was the elevator footage edited? Could Elisa have gotten to the rooftop water tank by herself, or is there a truth we'll never uncover? Let's discuss this in comments. I read every theory you drop, and if you are into true crimes that keeps you thinking long after the video ends, hit that subscribe button and join the us. Bye bye.